graduate and you think, I got the wilderness at my feet now. I can do whatever I want to do.
Well, I had a semester left of school, and that's really where I think my kind of journey began into this industry. And like many other great journeys, it started on spring break in Las Vegas.
Of course.
And many things aren't how you plan them to be, but in Grand Forks, there was an alumni who was a very successful casino operator in Las Vegas named Ralph Engelstad. And the city of Grand Forks suffered a devastating flood in 1997. And Mr. Engelstad said he wanted to do something for the community that would provide dividends for generations. And so he said he's going to build the greatest college hockey facility in the country. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I knew one person who knew Mr. Engelstad. And I said, hey, we're going to Las Vegas, where Mr. Engelstad lives and works. I want to meet him and thank him on behalf of the students for this unprecedented gift he's given to the state. And this contact said, yeah, I'll check with him and I'll let you know. Well, came time for our trip, never heard back from him. Went to spring break after a couple days, this one day in particular, doing your typical spring break activities of going to libraries and museums and touring the parks. Yeah. Came back one night and that red light was blinking on the phone in the room. And I called the front desk and they said, Mr. Engelstad will meet you tomorrow night at his casino at 11:30. You have 10 minutes and come by yourself. So I looked at my guys. I said, hey, which one of you did this? And they said, no, we didn't do it. It must be real. Yeah. I said, well, I never told them where we were even staying at. So the next day I went there that night. Mr. Engelstad was at the back bar. I sat down and mentioned to somebody that I was there to see him. I was escorted in this back room and interviewed by these two large individuals about why I was there and what I wanted. I said, I just wanted to say thank you for this great gift. Came out, spent a few minutes with Mr. Engelstad, and they said I had 10 minutes. And after about 15, 20 minutes, I offered to excuse myself, and he offered to stick around longer and have a conversation. We had the greatest discussion, but at that time I said, I just want to help you fulfill this vision. What can I do as I'm finishing school? I'll be an intern, I'll make copies. He said, well, look, we're not there yet. We just made the announcement, but I'll let you know. He asked when I was going back after spring break. I said, well, actually, we're going to Minneapolis on Friday for a college hockey tournament. He said, well, so am I. Why don't you fly back with me on my plane? So he wrote down the address of his airplane hangar, and he said, if you want to come here Friday morning at 10 o'clock, you can come with me. I showed up, and he was there, and we flew back, and again, I asked him if there's anything I could do, and he said, well, there's not, but I'll let you know. And but weeks later, I received a phone call, and I took a part-time job, and we started a company, and we helped design, build, open, and operate one of the greatest facilities in the country. And so I realized how fortunate I am that I didn't go through the human resource door. And that was really my start in the industry, and I was able to do it in my backyard. I did not have to move to a major market or somewhere far away. We did it right there, and we lived there for many years, and that was a very valuable first kind of chapter of my career.
Wow. There's so much to unpack on that. Like, absolutely. I love that. Okay, so what were you thinking was going to happen with that 10 minutes? Like, what was like dream scenario? Because it seems like you hit the jackpot with that scenario.
Yeah, my hope and my dream was to come away with a contact that he would want me to be a part of his organization and team, and here we go, and now I have a job. And I left not defeated, but I left knowing there wasn't really an option and they weren't there yet. But fortunately, it came around weeks later that there was an opportunity, and hopefully I made a good enough impression to him that they reached out and offered that to me. So,
what do you think he saw in you in those 10 minutes that obviously went longer and you had a connection?
Yeah, great question. I don't know. I think hopefully he appreciated that I didn't ask him for anything. I think when you're an individual of success and wealth, I think people are always looking for something to benefit themselves. And I wasn't. I was there to express appreciation from the students and offer to help fulfill his vision moving forward. So hopefully he knew that was authentic and real, which it was, and afforded me at least an initial opportunity to show that as he put together his company.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, like, people listening to this might be parents, they may have a son or a daughter that, you know, they would hope would take that opportunity as well, right? And just by reaching out to someone who, you know, there was a huge chance that you'd never get to sit down with this guy and possibly never see him ever again or at all. And obviously there's a part of you that wanted to do that, and there's a chance and there's a hope there. And I love that mentality of, okay, let's ask, right? What's the worst can happen, And like I said, you come back and you see that red light blinking and you're like, oh my gosh, and then you go meet him and he says, yeah, jump on my plane tomorrow morning. And just your willingness to be like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, we're going to the same place. Like, a lot of people would have been like, no, let me call my parents. I need to figure this out. Like, no, this is huge. You had the awareness at that time to be like, this is a massive opportunity. This guy and people like this guy move in ways like that, right? They just, let's do it. Let's get after it. There's no like waiting around. Like, this is the vision. I'm going to do this. If you want to come with me, you're welcome to join. And that's a huge invitation. And fortunately, you took that invitation to jump on the plane. And what was that morning like? What was that plane ride like?
It was terrifying because they're intimidating, and to have him kind of fly you around Las Vegas and show you the NASCAR track he built and the hotels he created, and somebody who's so successful, but you're reminded that he's an average, great Midwesterner like we were, and we had wonderful conversations that you humanized him very quickly to me, and I learned a lot on that plane ride, as well as years after that from him. But a few moments ago, you mentioned what I often cite as the most powerful word in the world, and that's ask. And I wish I would have understood that power at an earlier age, and I think I would have swung the bat more. I would have taken more risks more. But asking, I think, is something that people come to that line, but don't step over it.
Yeah.
And I think, I asked the question to get the meeting. I asked him for the opportunity, and most of the time it doesn't happen. But once in a while it does. And I think if people asked more for chances or to be positioned for opportunity, I think they'd be surprised how many times they get it.